A child. A fever that has not broken in 3 days. The hospital gave its answer. The family is not satisfied. Someone else is being called. The Philippines. 7,000 islands. One tradition older than any hospital. The albularyo. An albularyo is a folk healer. Part herbalist, part spiritual diagnostician, part counselor. Manggagamot in Tagalog regions. Medicinero in the Visayas. Balian among Lumad communities. Some are born into it, a gift identified at birth. Some are called through a dream, a vision, a spirit's visitation. Some inherit it. A grandmother's hands teaching which plant, which prayer. The albularyo does not separate the physical from the spiritual. It is one body of knowledge. Western medicine asks, what organism or dysfunction caused this symptom? The albularyo asks, what broke in this person's relationship with body, community, or the invisible world? In most Philippine communities, the albularyo and the physician coexist without conflict. Understanding what they do next requires understanding how they see illness itself. A bowl of water, a candle, an albularyo beginning to work. The first is usog, harm caused by the gaze of someone with envious energy. A stranger admires someone too intensely. Fever follows, with no physical explanation. The second is kulam, intentional spiritual harm, a hex sent with deliberate malice.
Its symptoms resist treatment and carry a persistent sense of dread.
The third is pasma, a cold-hot imbalance from moving too fast between extremes. The result? Trembling, numbness, a cold sensation that will not leave. The fourth is bangungot, sudden death during sleep, documented for centuries. Young, healthy men found dead at dawn. No Western diagnosis was possible for decades. The fifth is nagtampo ng engkanto, spirits who inhabit trees, rivers, and forests. Disturbing their territory without acknowledgement produces illness, dizziness, unexplained fever. Together, these categories form a complete map of invisible causation. Alum crystals rest on a cloth. A prayer begins quietly. The most widely practiced ritual is tawas. Alum dissolved in water to reveal the cause. As the alum dissolves, it forms shapes, red like a map. A human shape suggests kulam. An animal shape suggests an encanto encounter. The second practice is the egg ritual, passed slowly over the entire body. Cracked into water, the egg's shapes reveal the source of the illness. The third is pulse reading. Not for heart rate, but the quality of life force.
The fourth is the bendición, hands laid on the body in blessing.
Catholic prayers, woven with older oración text, spoken through the hands. All four practices share one logic. The cause is real, but it needs the right tools to see. Once diagnosis is complete, treatment begins, and the plant knowledge becomes essential. A Philippine forest at dawn, roots deeper than any colonial history. In 1992, the Philippine DOH recognized 10 herbal medicines the albularyo had used for centuries. Lagundi treats cough and asthma. Research confirmed its bronchodilator properties. Sambong treats kidney stones and urinary problems. It's now sold in pharmacies as tablets. Ampalaya, bitter melon, lowers blood sugar. One of the most studied plants on the list, bawang, garlic, treats hypertension and infection. One of the most studied plants on Earth. Tawa-tawa raises platelet counts during dengue fever.
used across the archipelago during outbreaks.
Beyond the 10 official plants, the albularyo's catalog runs into the dozens.
What it had was observation, patience, generations of careful use, and careful noting of results.
The albularyo found the right plant for the right condition long before any laboratory confirmed it.
10 plants, 10 centuries of traditional use, 10 sets of modern clinical confirmation.
The plants are the foundation. What comes next is how they're applied. Coconut oil warms over a low flame. The treatment is about to begin. The first ritual is hilot, Philippine therapeutic massage. It's far more than that.
The manghihilot reads the body through touch, targeting points of disruption. The second ritual is the oracion, sacred prayer spells spoken during treatment.
Catholic prayers, Latin phrases, pre-colonial invocations, woven together, specific to each condition.
The third ritual is herbal bathing. Plants and prayer draw out the cause together.
The fourth uses sacred objects, stones, bones, blessed items, each with its own origin and power. A full session moves through diagnosis, treatment, and instructions to follow at home.
The treatment and the understanding given together. That combination is itself therapeutic.
A laboratory. Instruments measuring what the albularyo already knew. In 2002, the WHO found that traditional medicine serves 80% of the world's primary healthcare needs.
The Philippine DOH's 10-plant list required folk use plus clinical evidence. Every plant passed. Flavonoids, alkaloids, allicin. The compounds behind centuries of use, now identified in the lab.
Science can't measure usog or kulam, but it validates enough to make dismissal impossible.
What the science can't measure is what the albularyo provides beyond the plants.
Dusk falls on a Philippine village. The clinic is closed. One light is still on. 4 centuries of colonial medicine couldn't erase the albularyo. Survival is evidence of function. They treat body, cause, and community together. Physicians and professors consult them too. But the tradition is fragile. Older healers die, and knowledge can die with them. What survives is a philosophy, care that begins with relationship, not just symptoms. The child's fever broke. The tradition continues.
The fever broke. The tradition continues. An albularyo using traditional folk healing has succeeded. Subscribe for more.